Good evening, parents, teachers, siblings, seniors, senior citizens. Welcome to the Western Albemarle High School Class of 2019 graduation. I know it's warm in here and you all want to hear your student's name called, so I'll do my best to entertain you. It'll be fun. My face is going to get really red. You can laugh at me. I would like to first thank all the people that made tonight possible. This entire thing could not take place without some serious work from our faculty and students. I would also like to thank all the mothers, fathers, and relatives that made these graduates who they are today. You'll always remember the first day of school pictures, packed lunches, forgotten packed lunches, even well into senior year. Sorry, Mom. Thank you to all those who showed up to this event. While it's a momentous achievement in all these students' lives, aside from that 2 seconds where your student's name is called, 3 if your name is really long, a graduation ceremony is far from exciting. In the words of my 9-year-old cousin, as we walked into my brother's college graduation, I was thinking how this is going to be kind of fun, but then I remembered it's just going to be boring. That's a real quote. Students, to those of you who hated every last second of high school and even dreaded showing up tonight, it's almost over. To those of you who loved high school and have enjoyed every step of it, I don't like or understand you, but for you too, it's almost over. Either boat you're in, you're all going into the next chapter of your lives, and high school has come to a close. When I heard I was nominated to speak at my high school graduation, I first thought, why? And then I went to being nervous, like Ricky. I too told my parents, only about a week after I heard. They asked, who's the graduation speaker? Oh, it's me, I said. All kidding aside, it is an honor. Now, when I heard I was going to be speaking, I was extremely nervous. In preparation, I was told it would be at least 1,000 people, and I think it is. It's a lot of people. I barely even talk at dinner with my parents, so this is like a huge escalation for me. What made me more nervous was what was going to be my message. What would I attempt to leave you guys with tonight? A lot of speakers carry experience or sage advice from their many years. So when I sat down to write this morning, I mean like a few weeks ago, I thought about what I had that might be of any value to you. Literally nothing. But I've decided I would give you some advice. Anyway, life lessons from life so far. This advice does, however, come with 2 large disclaimers. 1, I know as much as all these students before us today. I'm no different or wiser. While many of us are legal adults, I myself can say I'm just a large child. 2nd, I just Googled the top 3 life lessons and that's how I wrote the speech. I'm kidding. What this means is if you don't agree with me, just tune me out or throw things at me. Okay. My first piece of advice is to be your best self. It sounds pretty broad and basic, so I'll relate it to my own high school experience. I've been a member of the crew team here at Western for the past 2 years. While I haven't changed all that much physically, I'm still not 6 feet tall and I have the muscle definition of lasagna, I did learn some valuable lessons. On the team, there's a saying, head in the boat. At its most basic meaning, it can literally mean to not look out of the boat. But many times, it can mean to keep your mind in the boat, to not worry about the boat next to you. It's sort of like stay in your lane. You only go slower if you focus on other boats. I think this may be one of the most important forward phrases I've come to know, other than smile and wave, boys. I've come to apply this to everyday life. I find I'm at my worst when I'm always worrying about what other people are doing. There's absolutely nothing productive or positive about dwelling on silly things like someone's appearances or beliefs that you may not fully agree with. I guess if they have really bad BO, you could slip them some deodorant. But I think we all, instead of making judgments on someone or something, could work at worrying about ourselves and helping others. All right, my next piece of advice comes from one of my favorite movies of all time. I remember watching it when I was a little kid and dreaming about it, wanting it to be my own life. It's really the tale of the ultimate underdog, an incredible Cinderella story. Well, it actually is Cinderella. Aside from my feeling that me and Cinderella are literally the same person, and can both speak to mice, she, as well as the movie, have taught me an incredible lesson. In the movie, at least the 2015 remake, when Cinderella is a little girl, before she went to live with those awful stepsisters, her mom calls her in to talk to her. Her mom's super sick and tells Cinderella that she has a secret she has to carry with her throughout all of life. Her mother tells Cinderella to always have courage and be kind. She tells her that this has more power than she'll ever know. I've found, in my life when I'm not making sarcastic remarks, a little kindness can go a long way. One example of how I found to use a little kindness in my daily life came from my sophomore psychology class taught by Ms. Hosen. In class, we learned about a thing called the feel-good, do-good phenomenon. Essentially what it means is if you're in a good mood, you're more likely to do something selfless. So later when I could drive to school, I decided to test it out. I wanted to see if when I let someone out in front of me, they then let someone out in front of them. And what do you know, it worked. I tried it over the next few weeks and it probably worked 9 out of 10 times. To the 10th person, you know who you are. I challenge you all to try it. Well, not all of you, because then I feel like we'd have like a Canadian parking lot and a ton of traffic. While it entertained me, it also made me feel happy. I felt good when I let someone out in front of me. I imagine it's what actual nice people feel. It's very strange. Another example of being kind is holding the door. We all know this. I can remember when I was 7 or 8, one of my teachers told my class that our homework for the weekend was to do one random act of kindness. That same weekend, my family went to the zoo. And as we were looking at the penguins, which you could view from indoors, I noticed a door. My family headed for it. We were going outside. This was my chance. So I walked in the back of my family. When I got to the door, I held it. Now the tricky thing was that this is a really crowded time at the penguin exhibit, and I probably ended up holding the door for like 50 people. I was like, I'm literally the nicest person in the world. But this thought soon changed to the idea that I had indeed lost my family. So after a lot of wandering and definitely not wetting my pants, I found them. And my mission was accomplished. It felt good to hold that door. All right, my third and final piece of advice comes from my own personal experiences. For those of you who know me, there's seldom a moment when I'm not joking or being sarcastic. I am an immature person, I'll admit. Like I said earlier, I'm just a large child. I think this is apparent by the macaroni and cheese stains on my cap tonight. This week alone, I forgot my paddle when going kayaking, and not once but twice forgot my bathing suit when going to the pool. I'm not lying. Okay, I should probably stop saying these things or they'll rip up my diploma. All right. One day, after being called immature a lot, I decided the next day I was not going to be immature. No more jokes, no more sarcasm. I woke up and when I went to school, no jokes, no witty remarks, nothing. And it worked. It didn't work. I can't change the fact that I have the mental age of 8. Okay, so where's the life advice? I'll tell you. What this immaturity has taught me is to have a sense of humor. I realized I couldn't stop being a child because it's vital in all that we do. It adds a little resilience as well as fun into a life that can be so stressful. An example of this came around the end of year and AP exams. Me and my friend had been grinding out a marathon study session and decided we needed a break. We had both been studying tirelessly all day, and all we could think about was stress. So we decided we'd go to Dairy Queen and get some blizzards. I'll drive, I told him. But when we got there, to our disappointment, it was closed. Distraught and depressed, we decided there was literally nothing else in the world that could make us happy. So we would return to studying. But I needed gas, and I had a plan to cheer us up. So as we drove, I told my friend we were getting dangerously low on gas. As we approached the gas station, I began to pump my brakes and rev the engine abruptly. Oh, man, I said, we're out of gas. I continued this until my friend was freaking out and I stopped the car in the middle of the road. Just as my friend was at the absolute limit, I began driving again. Gotcha, I said. After being punched a lot, it was all laughs. I had succeeded in making us both forget about our stress, if only for a brief moment. I had taken the idea from my dad, who did the same thing to me when I was in elementary school. Genius. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed my life lessons. While they seem silly, I believe they are the recipe to living happily. So remember, keep your head in the boat, help others, Don't judge them. Have courage and be kind, as Cinderella's mother told her. And lastly, be immature like me. I have no doubt this class is capable of amazing things. It has been a pleasure to go through high school with all of you these past years. Thank you all so much, and congrats, Warriors.